As I mentioned, we are live from Rickreall Dairy in Rickreall, Oregon. And on your screen right now, you see Farmer Louie. Louie is the owner and manager of Rickreall Dairy. And he's going to be leading us through a presentation today, really just sharing a little bit about his farm. And we'll also have an opportunity to be joined by an OSU extension agent in a few moments. So again, thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now to Louie to give us our tour.
Well, hey guys, I am honored and thrilled that you guys would take time out of your day and come visit with us here today at Rickreall Dairy. My name is Louie. A lot of people call me Farmer Louie, and with me behind the camera is my son Nate and my daughter Stacy. And I just want to thank Ag and the class for including us in this opportunity to talk to you guys about what happens at a typical dairy all over the country, and especially here in Oregon. We moved here 30 years ago from California. Just like most people in Oregon have come from another area, but don't hold that against us. We have raised our family. I have 4 children and 3 phenomenal son-in-laws and 7.5 grandkids. And so we have been blessed way beyond what we need here at Rickreall Dairy. We employ 25 full-time staff, and some of my employees have been with me for 30 years. And so we try to treat everybody like family. And as we take care of as you'll know today in the calf barn, we take care of our calves in the best way possible. And we do the same thing with our full-size dairy animals and milk production, and with these animals as they are growing up. We milk right at 1,700 cows 3 times a day. It takes us 7 hours and 45 minutes to milk all 1,700 animals. We shut down for 15 minutes, wash the system, and start right back up again. So for 30 years, our milking barn, where all the activity is happening to get the milk out of the cows, the lights have never been turned off. We go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are 3 milkers here all the time. We don't always have a full staff here because we only feed and stuff during the day, but we have 25 employees. We produce roughly 15,000 gallons of milk a day. Break that down to pounds or gallons per cow, and it's roughly 10.5 to 11 gallons of milk per cow. The milk that comes out of our cows is about 3.9% butterfat. So you buy your milk, buy whole milk, which is 3.5%, low fat, 2%, 1%, and then non-fat. So what they do at the grocery stores before it gets to you guys is they skim the cream off the top, the best part. They take that off the top, and then they make the ice cream and the butter out of that, and they sell the leftovers to us as consumers. So all of our milk right now goes to Umpqua Dairy. We belong to Dairy Gold. Dairy Gold then decides where our milk is going to be shipped to. And right now, all of our product is being made into Umpqua Dairy products, and we're pretty proud of that. So if you want to enjoy a good dairy product, look in a grocery store for Umpqua milk, Umpqua ice cream, and that's going to be a big portion of that's where our milk all goes, with a few other dairies in Oregon. So in our calf barn, we built this barn 2 years ago, and when we normally were raising our calves, every one of the calves behind me would be in an individual hutch. And we believed that these calves, it was more healthy for them to be completely isolated from each other. So no bacteria could spread from one to another. So there'd be if the theory was, if one got sick, it couldn't spread the disease. We all know about COVID and how that spreads. We know how, well, I'm not going to go there. We had the theory that if we isolated every single cow or calf for the first 8 to 10 weeks of its life, it wouldn't make any other calf sick. We now know that's false. Okay. So when we were looking into building a new calf barn, we wanted to do um, what was sustainable and what was correct. And how did God create our animals and create them? He didn't create them to be alone. They are a herd animal. They like to be together. Here we were for the first 10 weeks of their life, traumatizing them by keeping them individual, and we didn't even realize it until we started putting them in here 2 years ago, and we got to watch them run and kick, and after they've had their bottle of milk and develop muscles that they couldn't develop in their individual hushes. And we are now making a stronger, better calf heifer for our future herd. These animals that were born here, these are a month old. In 21 months, they'll be full-size, mature animals. They will have a calf, and then they will become a milking cow in our herd. Our goal is to make the next generation better than this generation. And in order to do that right now, it has to do with um, cow care, calf comfort, calf nutrition. And in this barn, we've got the best of all worlds, because in each calf, you can see the ear tag. Attached to the ear tag is an RFID, which is an electronic transmitter. Maybe we can zoom in or come closer to a calf over here. The calf in their left ear, which would be your right, of 1861, there's a whole bunch of numbers there. That corresponds to the RFID tag that is in their ear. Now, we never have to look at that small number. We only worry about the 4861 number. That's her number for the rest of her life. When she gets thirsty and decides that she wants some milk, and the computer senses that it's okay for her to have some milk, the calf will then come into this chute right here. This tag, the tag on their left ear, gets read by the computer, and here comes one. And let's see what this calf is going to. Oh, we've got a fast blinking green light coming from the computer that said, "Sorry, calf, you've already drank your allotment of milk today. You've got to wait another couple hours before you can have milk." They can come in here and drink 4 to 6 to 8 times a day if they so desire. And the computer keeps track of how much they drank each time. They keep track of how fast they drank, how many times they let go of the nipple. If they're, and that tells us how fast they drink, tells us it's an early stage of sometimes we get pneumonia, and it'll cause them to cough. And so there's a lot of different touch point technology that we use in this feeding system. So how does it work? We have powder milk in here, and my employees just left, and so this is nice and full. Now this is not your typical powder milk that you use in cooking. It's not human powder milk. This is a 20% fat, 20% protein mix. So it's very, very concentrated milk. So we have the powder milk here. The calf comes in, the computer senses that she deserves to get some milk. The powder milk falls out the bottom of this cone and lands in this blender. The water comes out of here at 106 degrees because it's got a calf temperature is 102. So this is 106 to dissolve the butterfat that's in the powder milk. It blends this up, adds a little touch of vitamins, and then it goes over through a tube over to where the calf is ready to drink. Question.
Yeah, quick question about why do you make the calves wait to drink the milk?
Great question, because these calves right here are now getting 8 liters of milk in a 24-hour period. If we allowed them, they would drink all 8 liters in the first half hour of the day. And they literally would drink until they could not hold anymore. And then they would be hungry the rest of the day. And so what we do is the computer takes the amount of milk that they're allowed and divides it up evenly into groups of a liter or a liter and a half to 2 liters at a time, depending on how big they are. So what that allows us to do, and that's a great question, because when the calf comes in here and it's a week old, we start them on 4 liters of milk. And so they stay on 4 liters of milk for the first 2 or 3 days they're here. Then the third or fourth day it goes to 4.5 liters, then 5 liters, 5.5 liters. And I'll show you the computer program here in just a minute, but it ramps up to the 8 liter mark. And then for 40 days, we leave them at the 8 meter mark. And then we start ramping them down so that when they leave this area here and go to our other group housing for them, they're they're fully conditioned to live without mama's milk. And they don't go hungry. They If we just cut them off from the milk, they're so used to that they just stand around and beller looking for food. And we used to think that was normal. That's not normal. A hungry calf is not normal. So that's the reason we don't dump that amount of milk in front of them at one time. That's a great question. So are there any other questions as we're going through this? Don't hesitate to send in your questions, and I will answer them as they come in.
Yeah, so one other question, just clarifying the temperature of the milk when it's fed to the calves. Is that, did you say 106 degrees Fahrenheit
It's a
or Celsius?
No, that's Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. I don't. These are German machines, and so they go by liter. I try to break it down to American standards whenever we can. And so a normal calf temperature and cow temperature is between 101 and 102. So when we see a sick animal and we take its temperature, 102 is not alarming at all for us and for them. If it was a human, we all know 102 is bad news. You've got something going on in your system. 102 is normal for these guys. So in order to break the powder milk down and dissolve the fat that's in there, it has to go to between 106 and 108 degrees for like 10 seconds in order to dissolve the butterfat. If the butterfat's not dissolved, it literally will go right through the calf. They'll get no nutritional value out of it at all. So the temperature of this water that mixes with the powder milk is so important that every liter that gets mixed, the temperature is checked and recorded for each one, and we'll get a warning light if the temperature is either too high or too low.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Farmer Louie and Dr. Cruikshank, for joining us today. I know that there was lots of engagement in our questions. So thank you all students for joining us and taking time to do that. And I hope you enjoy some dairy products today. Thanks again.
Good deal. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Take care from Rickreall Dairy. Bye-bye.